This is Desiree Summer, and you are listening to the podcast where we talk about how to style, beautify, and make your life fun again. Here we go. Good morning, you guys. Hey, I hope you all are having a wonderful week. I know I've certainly had a good one. And today I wanted to talk to you about saying yes to your life and why you'd want to do that. But first, let me say this. Our no is powerful. And as a woman, I've always been taught how important it is to be able to say no. In fact, I've often been taught that my worth comes from my ability to say no. And it's really a notion that's been heavily reinforced by my time in the self-development world and in the coaching world. I mean, when you think about it, boundaries are, after all, just another way to say no. And even goals are a way of focusing in on one thing and saying no to everything else. No is undeniably powerful, I think, and it's deeply necessary. You really can't have a life that's your own without the ability to say no. But too many no's can make us boring, rigid, and put us in a holding pattern. You know, we can end up playing out the same skills, taking the same actions, and covering the same territory over and over again. Worse, we can end up forming this habit of just reflexively saying no all the time to everything. Doesn't matter what's before us. Right? We can ask ourselves, do we want to go out for drinks with our friends? They're all going out. And you can have that little voice in your head that says, oh, not tonight. I'm just too tired. Maybe I'll do it next weekend. We can ask ourselves, do we want to go on vacation this year? And you can end up thinking to yourself, oh, why even bother? I'm just going to leave work. I'll come back. I'll have more work than I had before I left. I'll never catch up. I just better not. Or we can think about things we'd love to do. Should we learn Italian? Should we take that yoga class? Should we go tango dancing? And we can think to ourselves, oh, no way, right? Too hard, I'm too old, it'll be too embarrassing. You might have noticed, no's aren't always a lot of fun. And too often, I think we aim our no's in the wrong direction. We aim them at ourselves. We say no to our hopes, our dreams, all of these adventures we long to go on. We don't use our no to focus our lives. Instead, we end up using them to hide. We say no so we can play it safe. And that is a recipe for losing meaning in our lives. Or, as Shonda Rhimes put it in this great quote, losing yourself does not happen all at once. Losing yourself happens one no at a time. So why do we do this? Why do we end up saying no to ourselves, to our best lives? Because no's feel safe, right? No's are very, very certain. Saying no means staying in the same place. Our best lives, in contrast, our passions, our joy, the stuff that is really going to grow us, is never in the direction of certainty. The best things in life are always emotionally risky, or at least they feel that way. Think about it. A new love, a marriage, a new business, a baby, a vacation somewhere overseas that totally entices us. Changing a profession, changing who we are, learning to shine bright when we've been hiding. These things thrill us because they are uncertain, but they are also oh so enticing and delectable. They are so worth the trouble. These things are so worth saying yes to. So this week, why don't all of us practice saying yes to the things that spark joy in us, maybe even despite the fear or discomfort? How about we say yes to the desires that we keep circling around over and over again in our lives, even years later, those dreams we just can't let go of? And how about we say yes to the adventures that will end up growing us? And the reward for being able to do that well, for saying yes more often to those things, well, I think it's best summed up by this quote by Richard Branson. He says, "I have enjoyed life a lot more by saying yes than by saying no." I want that for you. I want that for me. I want that for us. We need a world filled with people who are saying yes to joy, who are saying yes to the adventure. So with that, are you ready to find the joy again? Then let's get started. I have an inspirational quote for you to kick things off by Jodi Picoult. She says, "In the space between yes and no, there is a lifetime. It's the difference between the path you walk and one you leave behind. It's the gap between who you thought you could be and who you really are." And I love that quote and how important it is that we say yes to the things, to the paths we really want to be on, and that we learn to say no to the things that we have no business doing, right? Instead, we've got to learn to say yes to all the things we know we're meant to be doing in our lives. And with that, I have an inspirational video for you. You can go ahead and watch that either on the newsletter or on the blog post. And then I have some journal questions for you related to the video, but they work pretty well even if you haven't watched it. So the first one is, where in your life have you been saying no when you know you should be saying yes? Have you been saying yes regularly to your passions and desires, even the weird and wild ones? And last, what might your life feel like if you said yes more often? And as always, I have the weekly way to play. This one is called Say Yes to Yourself. So why don't you let yourself say yes to a little, or a big if you want, adventure that you've been longing to go on? For instance, maybe you've been dying to sign up for a salsa dancing class. Maybe it's time you asked out that hunk in HR you've been eyeing for weeks out for coffee after work. Maybe it's time to rent the kayak and go on the adventure. Maybe you should wear the red dress or the red lipstick or the red heels you have in your closet waiting for a rainy day. Book the trip for Morocco or Greece or anywhere else that has been enticing you, even if it's for next month, next quarter, next year. Take the first step. Say yes to a small adventure this week that pulls on your imagination, your dreams, your passion, that makes you get up in the morning with a spring in your step and even a few butterflies. This week, say yes to yourself in ways that give you more of the passionate, joyful life you want. And that is what I have for you guys this week. With that, I am off, but I will see you guys. I'll see you next week. Oh, and hey, if you have been enjoying these podcasts, you should consider signing up for the Fun on Fridays newsletter. I think you'd really like it. You'd end up getting the blog, the video, and some extras like behind the scenes delivered straight to your email inbox a week before everyone else. And you'd be the first to know about any new freebies I am offering, any new programs, any new webinars, anything like that. I'd love to see you there. Hope you sign up. See you next week. Bye, you guys.